Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm glad that you said that because I'd have been mad if I did this whole video with no sound. Cause we, I went through that already with my sisters, Sherry and Trish when we did the friendship video. We did that video. We had to do that video 3 times because there was no sound. So I'm back. I took the microphone out. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Listen. One thing about me, I'm not computer savvy, right? When it comes to electronics and all that stuff, trying to do all this stuff, only thing I know how to do is hop on here, make a video on Facebook. So yeah, YouTube. People be like, "Oh, I'm sorry I missed your live," but it's always doing on Facebook. This is a Facebook live, and then I download it and I download it to my computer, then I upload it to YouTube. So when you be see me reading comments, it's because I'm on Facebook Live. So just a heads up. And then okay, I gotta start over, and I'm happy I wasn't all the way down the list. But so the title of this video, oh yeah, so if you hear screaming and yelling, it's my neighbors next door. It's teenage boys. I don't know what the heck they be doing, but they always yelling and doing all that stuff. So if you hear anything like that, please disregard. And I hope it doesn't mess with the video. That's what I do hope. Um, Also, things I'm working on. So I need to say this again. When I always, go back and watch my videos and see how it is, and for the most part, I think it'd be pretty good. But something that I'm working on that I noticed, especially in the last video, I noticed it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to stop. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I say that way too much, way too much. Every other word is, you know what I'm saying. So I'm trying to work on that. Excuse me, y'all. My nose is my allergies. But anyway, um, let me know if you can hear me because I don't want to keep talking if nobody can hear me. But anyway, I'm trying to work on not saying, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, so much. So please forgive me. I'm trying to perfect my craft, or I'm trying to do better with these videos and how I speak and present my information. I want to be better in that. So please forgive me for saying, you know what I'm saying, so much, because that's a bad habit. And I be nervous when I be on here. Believe it or not, when I come on, I am extremely nervous. So as a result of that, I yeah, tend to do stuff that I guess soothes me while I don't know. Anyway, so I'm hopping to it. Dang, I'm so mad, me, because I was already starting to flow, and now I gotta start all over, or whatever. But I have to make a disclaimer before I even get into the video because I want people to understand that me as a woman, I completely understand that men have roles, women have roles, and when we operate in our roles in a healthy manner, healthy is the key word. When we operate in our roles in a healthy manner, we can create a beautiful thing, right? But we have been pushed feminist ideology, if you will, for so many years. We don't need a man. I can do everything by myself. I could do everything a man can do. All that. That's nothing but lies. And so women been sold that for so many years, and for so many years, women, that was their talking points. That was, they was very vocal about that. But now, um, I've been seeing in recent times that people, certain women, is being exhausted from that rhetoric. They're like, man, I don't want to I'm tired of being Miss Independent and I don't need a man. I'm tired of that. You know what I mean? So one thing about the world will sell you something, and once the masses fall into that, then they switch the narrative. They change it up, And so as a result, um, people are we dealing with some very unhappy people in this world, And so we've been taught lies. I'm speaking about women because I'm a woman, and so I I'm a I'm talking to the men and the women both, but I'm specifically speaking about women in this disclaimer. And I need the fellas to understand me as a woman. I understand my place, my role as a woman now. Okay, because I've done a video. I don't even know how long ago I did this video. Maybe a year or two ago. I don't know, but I talked about how I fell into that independent, I don't need a man trope. I can, to a certain extent, and having that angry black woman mindset and just, I, like I said, if you guys don't know, I used to be a complete mess. I used to be a complete mess because I was broken, and this is the whole point of this video. I'm an advocate for being healed, for being healthy, for being, healthy, being healed from trauma, working through your issues because that stuff can hold you back, can hold you down, can prevent you from being the greatest you, can prevent you from being the best you. And when it's the best you in the world, you tend to, you want to be around people like that, and kind of help build communities. We have this crab in the bucket mindset so bad. It's terrible. But anyway, women been taught feminist, and they push that, and a lot of women fell into that, and including me, fell into that, and all you just did was create disaster, and then let's flip to that, to the lies of the misogynist, right? So one thing about men can um men can mask they mask their trauma in a different way than women, right? Women, we would tend to dress uh provocative, the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we talk, the way we handle relationships and all that stuff, and just all that. We tend to that's how we show um our brokenness and low self-esteem and all that stuff. I'm speaking for me, how I showed it. And then, I mean, that's a lot of women. And then the men, though, the broken men, can mask their trauma very differently. Why? Because first of all, they're men, and men get praised for things that women cannot do. The whole double standard thing. And these type of people be the loudest in the room. Um, oh, I got notes. My bad. I got notes. I'm looking down. I got scriptures too. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Um, these types of people be the loudest in the room. The misogynistic men and the feminist women tend to be the loudest in the room. And I myself used to be married, right? So if you guys don't know, I've talked about this before, but I'm making a point within this video. I was married before, right? I was married to my son's father in my 20s. We got married when my son was 9 days old. And first of all, I wasn't a healthy individual at all. I wasn't mentally. I was broken. I hadn't healed from trauma. I wasn't um I wasn't the type of woman that a man would bring home to his mom because I was so broken. You get what I'm saying? And then I had this, and as a result, and then I'm following what the world is saying and all this stuff. So I'm messed up in the mind, right? So I used to be married, and how I how I behaved as a wife was terrible. You know, I first of all, me and him should have never got together. We should have never been married. We should have never been a thing. Like if I was a healthy thinking person and was healed from trauma, me and him would have never been married. I would have even never would have had a child with him. But um, how I used to behave as a wife. Number one, I didn't even know how to be a wife. Didn't know how to be a wife. Uh, I was the one that was in charge. Basically, it was like the roles were reversed. I was the man in the relationship. It was like he was the woman in the relationship. I was calling all the shots. I was making all the moves, you know. He was just along for the ride, you know. And over time, that became exhausting for me. And when we got divorced and all that stuff, I'm no longer married to him. This is like years ago. When I got divorced, you know, after our relationship, you know, basically was a wrap. I told myself, I don't never, ever, ever in my life want to be the man in the relationship. I want to be the woman. I want to be in my role. I want to understand what a true role of a woman is. And so I learned a lot in that marriage, you know, and it took time for me to get to the person that I am today. It took time, years, a lot of um praying. Eventually, once I gave my life to the Most High, a lot of praying, a lot of getting myself together, reading the Bible, and just trying to understand who I was, because I didn't know who I was for a long time because I was trying to be like other people, right? And so, and then not only that, I used to my relationships was built on faulty foundations. You know, you think about when the Bible talk about how a person built their house on the sand. I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing. Please don't try to, you know. I'm paraphrasing about how people built their house on sand, and when the storm comes, guess what? That house falling apart. And that's what's going on today in relationships. People's foundation is not solid. It's not rock built, you know. And I used to build my relationship on sand. You know, I didn't take the time to get to know a person. First of all, number one, I wasn't healed. I wasn't healthy. I gotta start with me first. I have to start with me first. And a lot of times people don't want to take accountability. I have to start with myself first. I built my relationships in the past on sin, and this was the turning point for me when I realized when the Most High spoke to me and told me something that I never ever thought of, and I think I've shared this before. I want to say I did, but I'm gonna kind of say some points that I've said in past videos. So my thing was this: before I can get in this, I'm being honest. This is honesty, transparency video, okay? And I try to be as honest as I can about myself. You know, I'm an open book, and my goal on here is to help other people. You know what I'm saying? You ain't see there I go. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me. I'm trying to work on that, but I'm trying to help other people. That's the goal. I want to encourage people to do better for themselves and to like again, don't make the same mistakes I made. You don't have to make the same mistakes other people make. You can learn from their experiences, and you know, so that way you can avoid those mistakes. So this is one of the foundations of my past relationships. When this is before I knew I was in, you know, trying to live life for the Yah and all that stuff, God, at the time. I said to myself, the only way that me and a guy can be in a relationship is if I know what he's working with. If you can read between the lines, then you understand what I'm talking about. I need to know if he can. I got to test drive, because if we ain't, you know. And I remember I was in the car. That's how I used to think. And then one day I was sitting in my car in front of my house. I was in my 20s or early 30s. Yeah, early 30s. I was sitting in my car in front of my house, and I don't know if I was praying or what, but that thought came into my mind about how, no, I got to test drive, because if he ain't, the Most High told me this. He said, I created you. I know what you like better than you, right? And I was just like, oh, because again, I always thought that God, Yah, at the time I was calling him God, and I know and think about Yah, his name and all that stuff. I thought that he was a prude, when in fact he created sex. Like, he created everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was always, yeah, the lies of Satan, boy, is something else. So my relationship was always built on sin. And we see that today, as relationships today why are they falling apart? It's because it's built on, if you see me looking down, looking at notes, why they falling apart is because it's built on sand. You know, for example, sand, lust, sex, looks, superficial things, not getting to know each other properly. All that kind of stuff is superficial. It's not solid foundation stuff that can help relationships last. And so therefore, as a result of people building their relationships based off of that, it's so many broken homes, marriages, all that stuff. It's so many broken relationships because people aren't taking the time to get to know each other. And then also, and to be fair, it's people that have disguised themselves to be something, and then when you get with them you find out that they're really not. So I want to be fair to include that too, and that's why it's important for you to, number one, have a relationship with the Most High. Let the Most High pick your spouse for you. Don't lean on your own understanding, because you can get caught up into some crazy situations, which I have in the past. I've been in bad relationships before, all because I did it. I chose it. I didn't rely on Yah, and even, Yah or God was telling me not to get with this person. The red flags was like, hey, giving me a whole talent show. And I'm like, oh, that's not a talent show. And still get with the person, and dang near could lost my life. And so you have to understand and know the kind of people that you're dealing with. And it's very, very important, especially in the times that we are living in today. Babylon calendar 2026. The times that we are living in today, you have to have discernment. You must have discernment, because Satan don't always come as looking devilish. Satan don't always come looking devilish. Sometimes Satan come as, oh, that's cool peoples. Oh, they cool peoples. Oh, that's the homie. Oh man, they are very sweet. That's a very nice person. Satan comes like that. The Bible says he transformed into an angel of light. So that's why discernment is very important. So you can see past all of that. You got to learn to see past the niceness, all of that kind of stuff. And so, we see all these relationships falling apart. I see men, oh, I'm never getting married, and I will never get married. Women saying the same thing. I will never get married. I don't want to get married and stuff like that, because, it's too much of a risk, especially for men, to get married to women, because some men, especially if you are a wealthy individual, you're bound to lose everything, and that's why it's important, men and women, to let the Most High choose your partner. But again, you have to have a relationship. You have to have a real relationship with the Most High, and you also have to be healed. Number one, you got to start with yourself. So many people are quick to blame, do like this, and my mom always say, you got four fingers pointing back at you. So many people are quick to blame other people for their problems and not take accountability for their own. So it's very important, when you are a healthy man, when you are a healthy woman. This is a disclaimer before I get into the meat of this video, because this video is inspired by something. And yeah, so I'll get into that. But when you are a healthy man and a healthy woman, you can create a beautiful thing. Because number one, when you're healthy, you know yourself. Number one, you know who will fit you best. You know what you're willing to put up with, what you're not going to settle for nothing less than y'all's best. Not to say that everybody's not to say that you're going to find the perfect person, because there's no such thing as a perfect person. We all know that. And so therefore, you can try your best to, find somebody that's compatible. And what are you willing to put up with that's not, okay, how can I say that? You know how you get to know a person, you're like, okay, well, I don't like this too much, but it's not nothing that cause me to walk away. You got to know what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with, right? So when you're healthy, you're aware of how to do that. And if a man and a woman, they're both healthy, they're compatible, because compatibility is important. They have a relationship with the Most High, a real relationship, not that, facade, a real relationship with the Most High, and you guys are really trying to live a life pleasing to the Most High, you can create a beautiful thing. You you can really create a beautiful thing. And when you understand your role in a healthy manner, right? Because people can know their roles, but it's not in a healthy manner. It's in a toxic way, And like I was saying, like men, unhealed men can tend to mask their trauma differently from women, because men are praised for being womanizers. Toxic masculinity can come off as being masculinity when it's actually toxic and it's not good, you know. So men can mask their stuff quite differently than women, and men get praised for it. So as a result of them being praised of their trauma, they don't feel like it's necessary for them to really be healed because it's acceptable in the world's eyes. But how do y'all want you to conduct yourself as a man? How does y'all want you to conduct yourself as a woman? It's very important that we know our roles. It's very and having a woman's role is not a bad thing. It's like we've been pushed these lies, you know, and we as women, and this may make some people feel some type of way when I say this. We as women have to learn how to stay in women's places. We don't get involved with men's stuff, because it was funny when we was watching Jediah a Sabbath ago when he was talking when he was like some of the men was kind of like going back and forth, and I remember Sherry, she was me, her, and Tristan, we in a group chat, and she texted was like, man, women got to learn how to stay out of men's business. We can't usurp authority over men. That's not our job. Our job is to help men. We are to help men. And so we got to learn to stay in women places. You know how, as a kid, your parents told you need to learn to stay in a child's place, right? Is that a derogatory thing to say to somebody? No, it's not. It's understanding who you are as a child. As a child, I'm not to be in grown folks' business. If I'm a child, children are not to get involved in grown folks' business. They are to worry about going to school, getting their education, whatever, doing things that children do. So we as women need to learn how to stay in our places as women. And that's not a bad thing. When you know how to operate as a woman, you can be a great help to a man, And the thing about it is, Yah created order. He created order in relationships. Is Christ, man, woman, children, right? It's order. And when you operate in that proper order healthily, that's the key word here is healthy. When you operate like that, you can have a beautiful thing. You can have beautiful relationships, beautiful friendships, because at the end of the day, in order to have good friendships, you yourself have to be a healthy person. It's not to say that stuff won't happen. You won't. It's not to say that you won't get mad at each other. It's not to say that you may not hurt one another. It's not to say that you won't do that. But because it's going to happen. We're human, right? We're human beings. We're going to hurt each other. But you aware and you're accountable. So therefore, you apologize. Y'all build. Y'all learn from the mistake, and keep it moving. Just we got to learn how to have order. And then also to the people that desire to be single, right? Shout out to y'all, because it's people that say, you know what, I don't even want to be in no relationships. I'm talking about they don't want to be in no type of relationship. They okay with being by themselves. And when we talk about single, being by yourself, we talking about you ain't having no with people. You know what I mean? You honoring your body, because the Bible said that's fornication. If you are a fornicator, you're going to the lake. So if you're not fornicating and you know, like, hey, I don't want to be bothered with people, a man or a woman. I just want to focus on my relationship with the Most High and just do me and all that. Then shout out to y'all, because y'all know which y'all willing to put up with and which y'all not willing to put up with. And then also too, like I knew one since she said, man, I don't want to be in a relationship because I have a mouth and I just don't want them problems. You know what I mean? And I respect, you got to respect people for that, because they understand who they are. And it's like, man, I don't want to even try to go that route, right? So my thing is this. I get on here to encourage people. I'm no teacher. I ain't trying to be no teacher. I ain't professing to be no teacher because I'm just not. I want to encourage people, and I can encourage men. I can encourage women, you know. And it's a lot of foolishness going on in this awakening. And when I say foolishness in this awakening, I'm talking about Torah only. It's people in this awakening. Now, being in the truth, being in the awakening, again, two different things, right? Being in this awakening knowing that you're an Israelite. Knowing that, hey, the Bible, excuse me, y'all, my nose. Knowing that the Bible is my history book. Wait, I've been taught lies. Okay, so you know your heritage. That's the awakening. But the truth is really learning what the Bible says and really trying to follow that. You know, people are not trying to really do that. So as a result of that, it's a lot of foolishness in this awakening, real bad. You know, and so as a result of the foolishness, people that's on the fence, say like from Christianity, people that's on the fence that is like, man, I think they own something about what they talking about, but it's so much foolishness going on. I don't want to be a part of that. Don't be a part of it, you know, because this the foolishness in this awakening is can be stumbling blocks for people, turn people off. The actions of others can turn people off real bad, right? And I want to encourage the people that is on the fence about, hey, maybe I should really want to, but it's so, don't let that deter you from learning the truth. Don't let that deter you from having a relationship with Yah for yourself, because He will lead you and guide you. You know, um, I was a part of Christianity for most of my life, right? And it's a lot of foolishness in Christianity too, a lot of it, you know. And people try to, tend to kind of like dumb it down. You know, it'll be things that be talked about and stuff, but for the most part, people overlook that and still be a part of Christianity, right? It's cults in the awakening. It's very much so Israelite cults. It's also Christianity cults. You know what I'm saying? And when you um, understand that and look at everything as a whole, that wouldn't deter you from learning about who you are, your true identity, who's what in the Bible, who's what in the world, and you wouldn't let that deter you from learning the truth and being a better person. So I'm saying all this to say, before I get to this video, that I understand women got roles, and I'm all about women's roles. I'm all about healthy relationships, healthy people, individuals. I'm all about that, right? So I'm on here to expose the foolishness that goes on in these Israelite streets, because there's a lot of stuff going on in these Hebrew streets that it's a lot of wickedness in this community, especially towards women. Okay, especially towards women. Now, the last Sunday church I used to go to. This is funny. This is a crazy comparison, but it's the truth. The last Sunday church I went to. Now, mind you, we worship it on the wrong day. Involved in pagan holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and all the holidays. Doing all that stuff. Um, just doing what the law's done away with type of thing. We're not keeping the law, but so this is Sunday church. That was the first church I've ever been to in my life where I saw men as real leaders at that church. And I was like, wow, blown away, because I grew up in church. I've been to different churches. That was the only church where I saw men as real leaders. They was advocates for healthy marriages. They always had what's it called? Like 'cause I used to be a part of the sisterhood too, and like we'll meet every month and have like a Bible study. We'll break into different groups and kind of share stuff, personal stuff, and we kind of glean off of each other, which was very good. They also had that for the marriage ministries as well, right? So they was advocate for healthy marriages. Like I said, sisterhood was dope. Like I loved it, and it was so much love in that church, man. Like I can never, besides the fact that they're not in the truth and they're doing what they're caught up in the Sunday worship and all that stuff, paganism and all that stuff. I can't negate the fact that they was actually doing things that stood out to me in a major way, and it made me look at church there is some solid. This is before I knew who I was, but there is some solid churches out here. It's not that many though. It's many of churches, right? But it's not a lot that's really solid for real. So I noticed that always stood out to me even till today. Even though I'm not a part of Sunday church no more, that right there will always have a major impact on me, right? So fast forward now, I realize now I'm fully aware of who I am, because again, the awakening for me happened over time. It happened over time until I finally was fully awake. But so fast forward, I fully understand who I am and all that stuff. I started going to this Israelite church. If you know, you know. I'm not about to say no names and all that stuff because it doesn't matter. But the things that stood out to me at this, I don't even like calling it a church. I don't even like calling it a ministry. If I'm being real, I don't. I feel like it doesn't matter. Anyway, what stood out to me there was the Gentile salvation versus the camp hate. That's one of the things that stood out to me. Now, I'm gonna kind of go back a little bit about the last video I did about Gentile salvation and stuff like that, because first of all, I got a lot of feedback on that, and people was like, wow, it was kind of very helpful for some people and stuff like that. And I also, of course, I got a comment that said, no, they're gonna be destroyed, and they got Nephilim blood. I'm paraphrasing, but basically they got Nephilim blood. So why would the Most High save them and blah blah blah? First of all, I just told the brother. I said, look, at the end of the day, I believe what the Bible said. The Bible said that they gonna cleave to us, they gonna be saved, right? If they choose to have a relationship, if a Gentile choose to want to follow Yah with their whole heart, I have not read in the Bible that the Most High is gonna turn them away and they're gonna be destroyed. I have not read that. If any of y'all find that verse and send it to me, then I'll change my mind. I'm like, okay. But I have never read that in the Bible that the Most High would turn somebody away if they want to have a relationship with them. That don't even sound like a characteristic of our Father, of our King. That doesn't sound like that fit them. But anyway, they still want to believe. I said, at the end of the day, man, this is what I told them. I don't care if they can be saved or not. I'm trying to get in the kingdom. I'm not going to live my life obsessing over them, right? And so, yeah, and then I had another comment. With the person saying that, they, appreciated the video, but they had a problem with the Most High. And they said that, they was mad at the Most High because of him making a covenant with us. And he said that it was impossible to keep. And I kind of like pleaded with the person to not be mad at the Most High for making a covenant with us, because the covenant wasn't hard. It was a choice. Either you do it or you don't do it. And we agreed to do it, right? So, I kind of encourage the person, hey, don't be mad at the Most High. Is it hard to, because for people to say that it's impossible to keep the law, my question is this. I kind of never really understood that, because is it impossible to not steal? Is it impossible to not lie? Like, I know certain things can be difficult because we're in the land of our captivity and stuff like that, and something, but to say that it's impossible, and some things are made for the priests, men, whatever, right? So of course I'm not going to do it, and it doesn't apply to me, right? So, but to say that it's impossible, because that's what they was pretty much saying, that, man, it's impossible to keep all this stuff. And I just kind of encourage him, like, don't be mad at the Most High that he made a covenant with us, because, we made the choice to do what we do, But anyway, and then too, I forgot to mention this. Some of our own people in this awakening, will sell you out. Will sell you out. I'm talking about the Uncle Ruckus, the Uncle and Auntie Ruckets, the Tethers, the bootlicking tap dancers. I'm talking about them people. They will be the ones Those are the dangerous type of people. And those people stay, I don't want no dealings with you, you know? And so, yeah, it was just, a lot, with that going to that church, I mean, that place, that stood out to me. And I was like, okay. Um, Another thing that stood out to me in that place, that particular place, the Israelite church, they call it, was bad marriages. Not to say that every marriage in that uh, church was bad, because it was people that was been married for years and came in there and they still, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm working on stop saying, you know what I'm saying. So forgive me if I still say it. But anyway, it was bad marriages there, and men, the men there aren't held accountable. Heck, if the leader of the place don't hold himself accountable, then why would he allow for the men to be held accountable? You know, and no matter what, if the man, we was told that we gotta endure and basically just put up with it, and the women was blamed for the stuff that was, that was happening in the marriage, and that you got to stay, you can't leave, you can't, and all this stuff. And then also too, we were told that we are property. Now, to a degree, I understand and I agree, because it was dowries paid for the woman, like they would, so yes. But the fact that you saying that, and it's a bunch of unhealed men in there, they took that in a very toxic way, in a very unhealthy way. The woman was supposed to just shut up, endure, be soft-spoken, be feminine, let the man have as much access to your body as possible, and that's you would think that it would have been flipped. Leaving a Sunday church, seeing all the good stuff that I mentioned, coming into the awakening, going to the Israelite church, you see the opposite. And it's just like, it's really bad in this community. It's a lot of misogynist, unhealed men within this community. They treat women like they have no rights. They enter the whole multiple wives stuff, which to me is lasciviousness, mentally and emotionally unstable. Most men can't even handle one. We're talking about in today's time. Most men can't even handle one woman. And for them to try to have multiple wives, especially in the United States, it's illegal, right? So the fact that they even doing that, that's another thing. But treat women like they have no rights, multiple wives, lasciviousness, mentally and emotionally unstable. When the Bible clearly tell me as a woman how to treat my man, and vice versa, right? They lack care and this is within this community. They lack care and love. I'm not saying that it's everybody, because I have met some people or some brothers in this community that love their wife, treat their life right. They all up, you know what I mean? Like they're not toxic, And so it's a lot of that going on in this community. And actually, the reason why I'm making this video, because it's inspired by a brother named Deacon Hakai and his wife. His wife, first of all, I hope she's doing well. She hasn't did a video in a long time. And I was keeping up with the story of the so-called marriage that she was in with Deacon Hakai. And she did multiple videos. And when I tell you, it was bad. The way that man talked to her, the way that Deacon Hakai talked to that young lady was deplorable. And it had me like, wow, this is really sad. This is not just happening in the last church that I attended, but this is really happening in the community. And then the response videos that some of these brothers was making was just terrible. Talking about her like a dog. Yes, they had some ill things to say about him too, But it was just, it was so sad. And she had receipts for a lot of the stuff. The way that he talked to her, cuss her out, calling her all kind of bees and all kind of stuff, just tearing her down emotionally, financial abuse, using her for her money for his own gain, you know. And when in actuality, he's supposed to be taking care of her, but she was taking care of him and the other women, you know. And it's like, do you Hebrew men think that treating y'all's daughter like this is okay? Like, do you guys think that being disrespectful, really treating women, the women that you are with, like they're nothing and they're nobody, and you could just mistreat them because they don't matter? Do you think that the Most High is like, yeah, that's my son? Oh, yeah, good job. Do you think that he's doing that? Because the Bible clearly tells us how we're supposed to treat each other, you know? And not only that, I also want to say that, Shalom, Mari, Shalom. I also want to say that the fact that the women, I'm talking about this community as a whole, right? This community as a whole, the oppression or suppression, whatever word you want to use, of the women, the fact that the men are so, some of the men, I'm not saying every single one of the men are like this, because they're not, but some of, and these are the loudest people in the room, are so hateful, are so misogynistic that shut up, do what I do, submit to what I'm telling you, and that's that. They don't give the woman the opportunity to be the helpmeet. Don't you think that affects the community as a whole? When you're so busy harping on submit, and shut up, and when the woman is not operating in her full potential, don't you think that affects the community as a whole? You know, because you think about what happens when you don't allow a person to operate in their full potential. Think about your body part, right? For example, say, so you got, you know, you got feet, you stand up. Say both of your big toes was gone. If you didn't have no big toes, would you be able to stand up properly? No, you wouldn't. Like, we need each other. And when you try to suppress a person from operating in their full potential as an individual, it affects the community as a whole. You know, we need better leaders. We need better men leaders. Some men need to sit down, work on themselves, heal from their trauma, and you know, go through the childhood trauma that has affected you into your manhood. Go through, you know, all of that stuff so you can be better, and that way you can be better leaders. When you're a better leader, you have a you know how to let a woman operate in her full potential without it, you know, affecting the community in a negative way. This Israelite community is a mess. It's a mess. I don't even want to say it. It's a mess. All because of people are entitled. They you know, it's all about them and how they think, you know. And the Bible clearly say how we should treat each other. You know, love your neighbor as you love yourself. You know, and we're not doing that. We got this whole crab in the bucket mentality that we want to pull. Okay, so the crab trying to get up out of there, and then the other crab is trying to pull them down, and then they all fall into the bucket, and you just stuck there in misery. Instead of you help push the crab up, the crab trying to go up, you trying to help you help push the crab up. The crab gets the top of the bucket, and now they, you know, I'm like, help me help you. There is no help me help you in this community as a whole. I'm not saying at all. As a whole, We have been broken and battered down as a people. We carry that same baggage into this awakening. And it's not helping us at all. We have to understand that we have to treat each other with love and respect. Men treat they women. Men treat jewelry and cars better than their women. They will take their cars to the car wash every week, get it detailed. I'm talking about, making sure that the seats is clean and all that. Oh, don't touch this. Don't touch the. They treat that a car. Some men treat their car better than their own women. Come on, sis, I hear you. We do need to do better. Yes. And it's sad because we are deterring people from coming into, we are being stumbling blocks when we act like this as a whole, and it's like, it's battle of the egos within this community, men against men. Oh, I know more than you. Battle of the egos. It's no humility, and that's what Maurice, that's what I appreciate about Elder Barawak. Elder Barawak is a humble brother. He say, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with saying I made a mistake. I messed up. And we need more brothers, more elders like that, that's willing to admit, hey, I messed up. And it be people that say, or I've heard someone say that's a quote unquote leader. Yes, he is a quote unquote leader that say, oh, if I mess up, let me know. I'll fix it. And the moment you do that, he ain't trying to hear it. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Like we not helping each other. We got to do better. We have to do better, and like I said, man, in this awakening, I've learned so much. I'm leaning on the side of truth, though, in this awakening. Yes, I know I'm an Israelite, but it don't stop there for me. I want to know how to treat my fellow man and woman. I want to operate in the roles that the Most High has given to me as a woman. I want to treat my fellow people with love and respect. But if you are a person that is, like I was saying, we have some uncle and auntie ruckuses in this community too, right? They still want to appease Gentiles and have their approval and all that stuff. Stay away from me. Like, if you're not really trying to be righteous, and when I say be righteous, accountability comes with being righteous. You have to admit when you're wrong. You have to constantly self-examine yourself all the time. Stop pointing fingers at other people. Shalom. Okay, look. Sagala told me your name again yesterday. Tell me if I'm okay. Wait, but Bana Yaha. Did I say it right? Bana Yaha. Please tell me Bana Yaha. Please tell me I said it right. So, we gotta do better in this community. Bana Yaha. That's what I said, right? Ain't that what I said? Bana Yaha. Bana Yaha. Did I say it right? I said it right. Bana Yaha. Okay. I ain't gotta call you Mr. Graham no more. Anyway, but we really need to do better. And that's why I appreciate Bana Yaha. I appreciate Elder Barawak. I appreciate K Judah. I just started watching. I started because I used to watch Jedediah like a year or two ago, or whatever. Amen. You have to be righteous, not just say we are. It is an action. Absolutely. It's like talk is cheap. It really is cheap. The Bible said, "Don't be hearers of the word, but be doers of the word." And if you're not trying to walk this walk for real, you are hurting the community, and it's like, we don't want to be stumbling blocks for other people because that blood is on your hands, and I just want to encourage the community as a whole to we got to do better. We got to do better. And for me, if a person ain't right, if they doctrine, listen, if a person ain't right, I get gone quick. I ain't got to make no announcement. I ain't got to make it a big scene. I just leave. You know, my friend, I was talking to my first church the other day. She was like, girl, one thing about you, you see something that ain't right, you get gone. You don't say nothing. Because, I mean, I'm not trying to make it a whole big show. You know, it's like, okay, what's for me is for me. And if you're not for me, then you're just not for me. I just keep it pushing. I ain't got to be sending you 50,000 emails about, you know, I ain't got to be doing all that. I just, okay, no, this don't sound right. I've done that. You know, when I left the last ministry that I was a part of, I just got on. I didn't have to make no announcement and all that stuff. And then when the other brother that was a part and he started his own thing, I was watching him for a minute, but I got on from that too. You know, because listen, man, I want the washing. I want the pure washing of the word. Cleanse me with the word. So that means I have to admit that I was wrong. Guess what? I'm okay with admitting that I was wrong, because guess what? This body is made of dust. I'm bound to make mistakes. I'm bound to, you know, and again, like I said in my friendship video, I'm about to read these verses because I'm about to be done. But like I said, but again, regarding to the Deacon Hakah situation with his wife, the only compassion I have for that man is that he repent. Other than that, and that may sound harsh, because certain people I just don't feel sorry for. I know that sound harsh, but hear me out when I say this. Sometimes people bring stuff upon themselves. Sometimes people bring tragedy on themselves. So you mean to tell me I need to feel sorry for a person like that? No. If you're constantly sowing bad seeds, eventually, guess what? That seed gonna grow, and guess what? You're gonna reap the fruit, the harvest of what you planted. You're gonna reap it. So do I need to feel sorry for you because that's what you've been planning on your life? No, I'm not. And if you know, hey, if you feel some type of way, then you feel some type of way about that. But that's just me, you know. But I'm gonna read. I got some verses and stuff, and I meant to read I can't even talk. I meant to read these verses after I did my disclaimer, you know, in regards to women, because I really want people to understand that I know my role as a woman, and I do think that women really need to hone in into their roles. And another thing is, like, it's all about how the woman should be all the time. What about the men holding the other men accountable? What about that? You know, it's always about, oh, the woman need to do this, women need to do that, and stop doing this, and shut up and submit and hear what I say. And okay, I feel like we didn't got that beaten to our head, right? But at the same time, me being a woman, I also understand that there are toxic women too. And I'm about to read some of this stuff, right? So Proverbs 21:19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. That's crazy. Proverbs 27:15. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Proverbs 25:24. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Ain't that something, boy? So just think of a wide house, man. Just imagine a house that's wide. And if the woman that's contentious is inside that wide house, meaning, so a wide house has multiple rooms, right? We would say it would have multiple rooms. It's big enough to move around in, right? The Bible says it's better for the man to be in the house with that woman. It's better for him to be on the rooftop in the corner. Listen, women, we have power. Women, we have power. We have power. Whether we use the power correctly or incorrectly, we have power. And if you are a contentious woman, you are detriment to a man. Because first of all, let's talk about this for a second. A black man, right? Black man out here in the world, he got to go out, he leave the house. He go out there, he makes the money. He got to fight with the world because the world said that the black man is not good enough. He got to work 20 times as harder as the rest of the people. He don't amount to nothing. So he got to go out there and hustle and bustle and watch his back, against, people that hate him and all that stuff. And then, so he come home from getting beat down from the world. And then you come inside the house. You come home to your woman. And she's making the home a living hell. We have power to push men away, to, tear our men down, And it's like a man should not have to go home. So he's out here really doing what he's supposed to be doing for his family. And he come back home and he got to fight with you. Woman, you are the problem at this point. It's you the problem. We as women gotta do better too. It just goes both ways. Genesis 2:18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. That's what we are. We are to help the men. When you healthy and you know your role, you will be a great helpmeet to a man. 1 Peter 3:5 through 6. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. We are in subjections to our own husband. If you are married, your man is the head of household, and hopefully you have a man that's led by the Most High. 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So there's order. The Most High, he does all things decently in order. So there's order in relationships, especially men and women. And if you operate in that proper order, that could be a great thing, But people tend to be selfish, and it's all about them, and entitled. Proverbs 18:22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord. Let's talk about this verse for a second. Whoso findeth a wife. It don't say whoso findeth a woman. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord. And let me tell you something. Women tend to throw this verse around so much. Oh, the Bible say, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. But most of the time, you're not even a wife. You're just a woman. And it's more women out here than it is wives. Be it that you actually married. We talking about healthy stuff. Forget about the unhealthy and toxic. I'm not talking, y'all excluded from this conversation as far as like wife, right? We talking about healthy people, healthy individuals. Whether you are single and you trying to be seen, not seen like in a sense to where you doing the most to be seen, but you setting yourself up to be seen by a future husband. You operating in your wife duties. You taking care of, you know what I'm saying? You doing what a wife is supposed to do. You're a wife, right? Even if you're single, you still can be a wife, right? Because you are carrying yourself in that manner, right? And a man can see you like, oh, that's wife. She wifey material. I want that, A lot of toxic women tend to want to say that verse. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. But y'all not wives. Y'all just women. Learn the difference between a wife and a woman. Two different things. Yes, we're, the gender is the same, but the mentality is different. When you are operating as a wife, your mentality is different than just being a woman. I don't know if that make any sense. The mentality is different. And so we have to understand what a wife is, even as a single woman. If you want to be in a happy, committed relationship, not to say that it's going to be perfect, because it's not. You got to understand what a wife means. You got to understand that while you're single, and I had to learn that. I learned that after I got divorced from my ex-husband, what a wife was. But like I said, it took years though for me to get to the person that I am today. It took years to do that, but I had to do the self-work, right? So the men, I'm almost done. 1 Timothy 3:2-5. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Listen, these dudes with these multiple wives and mistreating them and all that stuff, you're not even following what the verse say. In 1 Timothy 3:2-5, he say, be the husband of one wife. Learn taking care of you, making sure your house is in order. Anyway, 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Why aren't the men talking about this? If you mistreat your wife, your prayers could be hindered. Why are we not talking about this kind of stuff? Like, it's like people cherry pick the Bible to death. I've never seen so much cherry picking in my life, but they would cherry pick the Bible to death. Ephesians 5:25. Husband, loves your wife, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. And also, I also suggest reading Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, talking about wicked women, man, because they out there, Now we're gonna talk about deliverance, sin. John 8:36. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. Man, I'll tell you that I am free from my trauma and all that stuff. I'm definitely free, but I had to be honest, accountable, and give it to Him and allow Him to change me. I had to read the Word. I can't just do it without reading scriptures and being around a community of people that it's iron sharpening iron. I have good, solid friends, man. My best friend Sherry, my good sis Trish, man, I can talk to them about anything and they hold me accountable. Like, that's what real friendship is for. You hold each other accountable. You iron sharpening iron. You know what I mean? Like, we study the Bible individually. We come together, we talk about it, and we kind of build on that, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. When you really are walking the walk with the Most High, old things are passed away. You're not coming into nothing with old baggage. But you have to be in Christ. You have to be in the Messiah. If you're not in the Messiah, you still walk around with the same old baggage that you had back then. You want to get rid of that. It's so freeing that I no longer have baggage that I used to carry. I had baggage on top of baggage. I say I used to have trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, but it feels good to no longer be walking around with that, 1 John 3:8-10. 1 John 3:8-10. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of God. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. Man, the body of fruits. I'm almost done. 2 more verses. James 1:14-15. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. 1 Corinthians 6:9-10. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. We need to focus on having the spirit, the fruit of the spirit of the Most High, within our lives, and helping one another. Because like I said, this community is a mess. This Israelite community is a mess, and I want to read this one verse real quick, and then I'm about to hop off. Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 16. I suggest read the whole chapter, but this verse right here really stood out to me, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Us women have power. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Do you hear that? I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. That just go to show the power that we as women have. So I just want to encourage Israel to do better. Do better. We have to do better. How can we be a light unto other people if we fighting against each other, not loving on each other, and tearing the next person down? So I just wanted to come on here and encourage. And like I said, this video was inspired by that Deacon Hakai and his wife situation. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's a lot going on, and I just want you guys to stay focused on the Most High, no matter what, no matter who you are, be it you cleaving or you not. I'm talking about the real cleavers. I ain't talking about them phony sojourners. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the ones that's really for real love Yah and his people and really trying to live righteously. Stay the course, man. Stay the course. Stay focused on the Most High. Stay in his word. Stay studying. Try not to let other people deter you from wanting to do the right thing, because that's very easy to do, and we can be stumbling blocks for other people. But as you grow and get to know Yah for yourself, the more that you do, you're going to understand that your own relationship is very important, and you shouldn't let no one deter you or try to knock you off. And I even want to encourage the babes that's within this walk. Pray. The Holy Spirit was left here to lead us and guide us into all truth. And when you stick to the Holy Spirit leading and guiding you to the right people that's in your life, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll learn. You'll grow. But you have to put the effort in. You have to put the effort in. Pray for discernment. Everybody, please pray for discernment. We're living in crazy times now. The world is coming to an end. I'm not saying that it's going to come to the end 2030. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying none of that. I don't believe in no dates and years. No, I'm not doing none of that. But as the signs of the times are here, the world is, we see the change in the world or whatever. But anyway, man, I'm on here for an hour and 8. I don't want to be on here this long, but I'm about to get off now. But I hope I made sense. And thank you guys for tuning in. YouTube, this is Facebook Live. I'm uploading to YouTube. So I appreciate everybody, all the support that I'll be getting, and just I'll keep my people in prayer, and just keep heads in the right direction, and you will be fine. So I always want to end with this. Matthew 22:14 says, "For many are called, few are chosen. Please be blessed."